to Punjab, where Aam Aadmi Party's big announcement ahead of the upcoming elections is that every woman will get 1,000 rupees per month if the party is voted to power.
आम आदमी पार्टी की पंजाब में सरकार बनेगी। पंजाब की हर महिला को 18 साल से ऊपर की हर महिला को हर महीने 1,000 रुपए उसके अकाउंट में हम डलवाया करेंगे। सबके, अगर एक परिवार में एक बेटी है, एक बहू है, एक सास है, तो तीनों के अकाउंट में 1,000 रुपए आएंगे।
All right, for more on this and to understand this development better, I'm joined by senior journalist Hemant Atri on the broadcast. Mr. Atri, thank you for making time and speaking to Mirror Now. This is not new. This is Kejriwal's brand of politics, taking a cue from the Delhi playbook. He's announced the same thing in Punjab. How do you view this development? Do you think this template will work in Punjab as well?
See, Archana, Kejriwal is a habitual liar on this score. As far as cheap populistic measures are there, he is a habitual liar on this course. You tell me one thing. Punjab is one of the most heavily indebted states in the country. It is one of the most heavily indebted. And, you know, after this power thing, whatever they have done, Mr. Channi and all, it has again added to the woes of the state exchequer. Once they go for 1,000 rupees a month to every woman, you know the population of Punjab and how much it will cost to a state exchequer per month. This is beyond anybody's, expectation. Mr. Kejriwal has basically lost his plot in Punjab. See, for last about 3 months, if he was a serious contender in Punjab, Congress was in, complete disarray. There was open infighting in Congress. If he was the real challenger, he would have taken the Congress head on. While doing so, he would have projected somebody as a face of this campaign. He has not done any of those things. He knows that he can't project anybody who has a credible face for the very simple reason he himself is, so much, desperate to get out of Delhi and go to Punjab. He had 20 seats in the last elections, assembly elections. Can you ask him how many of them are there with him now? Just 11. 8 have left, 1 he has suspended. If a person can't keep his, flock intact at the 2 months before the elections, how he is going to claim the Punjab government? I fail to understand. So the only thing left with Kejriwal Archana is just to play such sort of gimmicks. I call them gimmicks.
Okay.
Punjab government is not able to pay salaries in time to their, employees. From where will you give 1,000 rupees a month to every woman? Can you imagine? So this is all cheap populistic approach of Mr. Kejriwal, which he has been doing. And see what he has done in Delhi. Delhi is a, cash surplus state. You might be correcting. Delhi being national capital also, there are a lot of taxes there. That was a cash surplus state. Forget about everything. Just go to Delhi roads and see what pathetic situation it is. What type of claims he is making? He is a, miserable failure as far as governance party is concerned. And Punjab people, let me tell you, they don't want freebies. They want services.
Right.
Services are more important than freebies. You are ready to pay for everything if it is a quality service. Kejriwal doesn't have any intent to improve the governance. Wherever he goes, yesterday he was in, Uttarakhand. He said, we will start, this Tirth Yatras and all.
Yes.
How a common person, if at all he has some shraddha somewhere, he will go on his own. Where is the government required for that?
Right. Mr. Atri, please stay. Okay, please stay on with us. I have another question to ask you, but before that, let me go across to BJP's Raman Malik, who's been very patiently waiting. Mr. Malik, thank you for making time and speaking to us. How do you view this development? Kejriwal announcing 1,000 rupees for every woman in Punjab if the party is voted to power. How do you, as a party who's a key opponent in Punjab, see this development?
I don't know the exact figures, but I presume Haryana being around 1,30,000 crore rupees budget, Punjab would be hovering near to 2 lakh rupees if I'm not wrong. Now, what Mr. Kejriwal is saying has to be understood mathematically. He is talking about 1 crore 40 lakh women in Punjab out of 3 crore population. You are talking about 1,400 crore rupees being given every month, turning to be around 16,800 crore rupees every year, which probably would be over 10% of the budget allocation, the complete budget.
Mm-hmm.
Now, coming forward, you are talking about another fact that you are talking about 84,000 crore rupees going in 5 years. How is Punjab going to afford it? That is one basic mathematical and economics question. The second is, with a state like Delhi, which has far bigger a budget, probably one of the biggest budgets of a small state that could be.
Okay.
Delhi today has a problem that it cannot even spend around 16,800 crore rupees on health. Forget everything else. Now you understand what is he saying. If that is the case and he wants to bring women empowerment, the same dynamics are there in Delhi. About 3 crore population, about 1 crore 40 lakh population of women, 1,000 rupees, he can start in Delhi, show us.
Yes.
The same dynamics can be worked here. Tell me, how are you and why have you not done it in Delhi in the last 7 years? Now comes another question. The question is that you are talking about 300 units, whereas you're giving 200 in Delhi. About 16,000 crore rupees is spending of the MCD. You are not paying that. So why are you throwing a bundle of lies everywhere that you go?
Right.
The most important factor is one should understand, if you want to make a statement on women empowerment, make laws the way Haryana has been doing. We have made sure that a 12-year-old, if is molested, if it's raped or there's something, it is a death penalty. Start doing effective work which should be backbone of women empowerment. Give security in the night. You've not been able to do that. You've not been able to make anything that you promised in Delhi.
All right.
At least you must have some basis to counter, claim what you are claiming. And
right.
Punjab is now a very different game plan altogether when it comes to politics. You have to understand Punjab's youth has awakened. Punjab is today sitting on a discussion whether it needs a nationalistic government or it requires a Panthik group or it requires lumpen goons like Sidhu and all others.
All right.
They have to come across and talk sense.
All right, I got your point, Raman Malik. Thank you for weighing in on this big development ahead of the upcoming Punjab elections. If Hemant Attri is still with us, Mr. Attri, I wanted to ask you something. And as you said, you made some scathing remarks that these are lies, this is cheap politics. Isn't it ironical that, Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party that continue to promise these quote-unquote freebies to women, isn't it ironical that there is no woman minister in his own cabinet in Delhi?
Yeah, see, Kejriwal has found it very convenient to befool people. See, there was one leader in Haryana called Devilal. He used to say a very famous sentence, famous quote of him. He used to say that it's very easy to befool people rather than to make them understand, right? This is what the policy of Mr. Kejriwal is. I simply want to ask him two questions. Has he done this 1,000 rupees thing in Delhi? My first question. Has he done it? If not, he has not done it here in 7 years. How come he claims the same to be done in Punjab, which is a cash-stripped state, actually? Number one. Number two, Punjab needs governance. See, 10 years of SAD rule, 4.5 years of Captain Amrinder Singh rule. What Captain Amrinder Singh did? He had completely outsourced the governance part to a select bureaucrats and his cronies. That's what Mr. Amrinder Singh did. Same was done by Mr. Akalis for 10 years. Now what Punjab needs? Punjab needs a governance model. All political parties, be it Congress, be it Shromi Akali Dal, be it Aam Aadmi Party, they are offering any governance solutions. What they are getting into? Somebody is getting into nationalistic thing. Recently, Mr. Malik was here. He was calling nationalist government. What do you mean by nationalist government in the state? Where there is no BJP government, are they anti-national? What does it mean to say? My simple thing is, Punjab is a border state. It's a sensitive state. There is a huge, huge problem of narcotics, of unemployment, of governance, and there are so many other things. Punjab, which used to be one of the torchbearers of progress and everything, see where they are lacking now. The state needs a sensitive leadership which can address to the governance issues. And somebody calling nationalism, somebody calls caste, somebody calls this and that. This is very unfortunate, Archana.
Yes.
If the country has to go in a particular direction that is on the path, certain ways and means of doing it. And what is that? Please try to make people understand rather than befooling them. What these politicians are doing. The last elections, BJP was in alliance with Shromi Akali Dal. How many seats they had? 3. Right? Now no more they are in alliance. But Captain Amrinder Singh also intending to go with BJP. Where are their, principles? Do you see them anywhere? Till yesterday, they were accusing each other, they were pointing fingers. Today, they are with each other.
Yes, yes.
What kind of politics you are doing in a sensitive state, bordering state like Punjab? Everybody has to introspect, all political parties.
Absolutely.
That's my point.
All right, you're right. Where are the principles in politics? That is a very tricky question. Thank you, Hemant Attri, for weighing in and making time and offering your perspective on this development. Meanwhile, breaking inputs coming in, the Punjab Congress has also reacted to this development. Now, the Congress has called this as a lollipop. Kejriwal's promise of giving 1,000 rupees to women. They have called it a lollipop. Congress has said that Punjabis aren't a charity case, and they've urged the Aam Aadmi Party to talk about employment and education.